morning, everybody. What's up? The Cooper Troopers are in the building. the troop, the troop, a band of misfits navigating this weird world. So, what's going on, everybody? We got the CPI in. It looks like it is exactly as expected, and I haven't looked since I saw that, but I can pretty much assure you that the markets are pumping. Microphone. I did it again. Let's look real quick before I get to some what I think important stuff. Microphone. Check. Jesus. Now, can you guys hear me now? I didn't even have my microphone plugged in. This is a new level of no microphone. Let me make sure. Oh, yeah. You guys are hearing the wrong microphone. Does this sound better? Can somebody give me feedback? Does the microphone sound okay now? Is it better than it was? Chat. Good morning, chat. Sprint guy ReCoop. Can you hear me now? All right, good. You can hear me now. All right. What's up, John? Good morning. Good morning, Crypto for Change. Uncle Sam. Let's see. Jeff. Mike. Eric. All you guys. Average Zen. Vince. A lot of you guys are in there. I appreciate it. Let's just real quick look at futures, and then we'll look at algo, and then Bitcoin and algo, and then we will move on to me talking about yesterday's interview with David Garcia from Borderless Capital. I have some things that I want to share with you about that. And then after that, I want to talk about Operation Choke Point 2.0, which is I'm alluding to something that the government seems to be doing. And there we go. We'll have a conversation about all that today. And it's a full day. We got a full day today on the ReCoop. All right. Oh, and then moving forward, folks, I'm thinking that I'm just going to Jesus. Moving forward, folks, I think I am just going to have this streaming live on YouTube to consolidate everything because I'm spreading it thin, and we got to get the algorithms on our sides, folk. Got to get the algorithms on our side. Okay, so apparently talking is difficult. These are the first sounds that I'm making today. I'm going to warm up and everything's going to be okay. All right, so let's share the screen and let's just look at CNBC. There you go. The market's pumping. It loved inflation because now they're like, okay, well, the Fed is going to stop hiking interest rates because of the contagion of these bank failures, right? Well, I will say before we actually dive into this, that a while ago, Joe Biden, the president of the United States, if you guys don't know, he gave a directive to the Fed that their job was to handle inflation independently. And I get the feeling that these bank runs and all that is not quite as corrosive or contagious as people made it out to be. Anyways, I think the Fed will independently work of what the narrative is, and there's reasons. There's reasons why people want the rate hikes to stop, because if you keep on hiking the rates, people are going to continue to lose jobs, and that is obviously a very political position that you do not want to be in, right? They want jobs to continue to be good. We, as a community, are hyper-focused on the markets, right? So the idea, inflation can run high and the markets can still do pretty good. It's the reaction to the inflation that hurts the markets. And that's the hawkishness of the Fed. I will be extremely surprised if the Fed doesn't raise interest rates again next week. So this is all chop, folks. This is our big moment. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, we just got a whole bunch of bank failures. But now interest rates may not go up as high. But they're in a pickle because inflation came in as expected, but it's still getting worse. All right. We'll talk more about this. I never even shared the screen. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, this is the screen I was looking at. What were you guys looking at? You were just looking at my face. Oh man, just looking at that face. All right, that's what I was sharing. Let's just go real quick to coin market cap. Coin market cap apparently was in talks to acquire CoinDesk, but they're backing out now. Binance, that's something we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Binance today, but Binance owns CoinDesk. No, I'm sorry. Binance owns CoinMarketCap, and they were going to potentially purchase CoinDesk, but I think they realized that it just wouldn't be a good look. So yeah, dude, look at that. Holy moly. Bitcoin is up over 26,000, up 18% over the last 7 days, up 6% in the last hour. That inflation news is giving a huge boom to the markets. And this is also timed with CZ and Binance's $1 billion investment in cryptocurrency with BUSD. We're going to talk a lot about that later. USDC found its peg. Thanks, USDC. I really appreciate it. You putting me in that terrible position over the weekend where I could not buy the dip with you. I had to play all these games, and I could have played that a lot better if I actually had a stable coin that was stable. It's okay. Moving forward. Yep, everything's up. They're all going up. Going up on a Tuesday. Isn't that a song? Not a song from back in the day. I did buy a little XMR at like 132 over the weekend. Bought a little Litecoin at 60. It was all just a test. I just wanted to make sure that it was working. So those purchases look pretty good. Yeah. Wow. Boy, oh boy. Aren't we underperforming? Algorand is at 22 cents. It is up over 5% over the last hour, up 11, almost 12% in the last 24 hours. And it's flat over the last 7 days. We've obviously had a trauma happen in the Algorand ecosystem, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Let's see what's going on out here. You guys say anything over here? There you go. Scotty Rolls knows what I'm talking about. Sell that Litecoin immediately. Hey, at a 33%, at a 33%, it was. I didn't buy a significant amount, John. Don't you worry about me. But I don't. What look? Worst case scenarios, Bitcoin, Litecoin, those guys are going to be okay. Sell that Litecoin immediately. All right. Oh, you got Jeeps. What's going on with the Jeeps? Take that Litecoin gain ASAP. Got it. I got it. I know, guys. I know. So, okay. Here we are. Yesterday, I had David Garcia from Borderless Capital on the show. I got some good. I tweeted about this, so if you saw the tweet, well, you know how I'm feeling. But I got some good jobs. I got some. Hey man, good job. Good job on your interview. Now moving on, right? Yeah. I don't think I did. I was watching it back to clip something out, and I don't think I did a very good job, to be honest. I feel like I just, look, talkers talk, folks. Talkers talk. I've talked to some world-class talkers on my show in my short amount of time doing this. And this is all brand new to me. And it was part of the reason why a while back I was like, I don't think I'm going to do interviews anymore, because it just becomes me giving a platform, right? Either to a project that could potentially rug you, or like yesterday, where it was a platform for David Garcia to change the narrative through a lot of talking, right? And I'm not saying anything other than that. that there was a lot of different points where I should have pushed back, and I kind of chose to be pleasant and make him comfortable instead. And I find that to be a failure, and I don't find that to be a success. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I should have pushed back, right? On several different things, but there was one point in particular that I feel like we need to watch back. So why don't we just dive in? We're going to do this at the top of the show, and then we'll move on to this other stuff later. Yeah, and then that, and Average Zen, thank you for pointing that out. Not to mention the sound issues were distracting. For the first 15 minutes of that interview, there was a lot of distracting sound issues, and I was trying to figure out how I should interject. In there to get him to, to fix it. I should have done that earlier as well because it was distracting. And, I often was thinking about something to say, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll let him finish and then I'll get this in. But then he would just continue, and then he would drop a bomb, right? Or he would say something kind of definitive that I wanted to push back on, but then he would very artfully keep on talking. So look, I mean, that's what they do. I'm not saying there's anything nefarious about that. He was like, the reason why he wanted to come on the show is because he wanted to clear the air, right? And he also wanted to shape the narrative. And I gave him the platform to do that. And I didn't push back appropriately. That's what I'm having a problem with. And by the way, I've had nobody tell me that. That's all based on my opinion, right? Of me watching that back. And this is the early days of this show. I'm only on my 4th week, right? I haven't even finished my 4th week. This is the 2nd day of my 4th week. And so this is all brand new to me. I think this is the 4th week, right? I think so. I think last week I finished 3. This is a new experience. And especially now that I've been kind of diving into some dicier issues and not just kind of, supporting projects, getting to know about projects, saying hello, letting the projects get to know you, and then having all these things. Now I'm kind of diving into things being like, all right, we're in a bear market. Things are exploding. We need the truth, right? And I've been giving that. I've been doing my best to give that in my shows. But when I do decide to have people on, I think it is important that I have a more no holds barred approach. And I did not approach yesterday like that. And I'm slightly disappointed, but I'll move on and I'm going to grow, right? This show's gotten better over the first 4 weeks. So I'll just get better at that too. It's no big deal. I'm not like mad at myself or anything. All right. But I do want to, I cut together a short clip. It's only like 2.5 minutes. We'll watch it and I'll make sure you can see it. And I'll pause and I'll talk and I'll look at some other things and we'll keep on keeping on, folks. All right. So without further ado, let's go to my YouTube and let's actually share the screen. Bob Dylan, Visions of Johanna. You can tell that well, that's a fundraiser. Yeah. But you can tell I'm a fan of Bob Dylan. I don't know why that's there. Slick Rick. Bob Dylan, Slick Rick. I'm a diverse person, guys. All right. Let's enough of that. Okay. I'm in here, right? You can see me. You can see everything. We're all good. Okay, let's just watch this first bit.
Then a lot of speculation about borderless, my connection with Pablo, my algo, etc. So, yes, we worked with Pablo in the past. He was our CTO. And as I mentioned, he voluntarily resigned to that position. Mm-hmm. After that, the only relationship that we have with Pablo, it is being a user of MyAlgo, which now we are not, of course. But Borderless Capital has zero interest in Run Labs, never invested in Run Labs.
What happened? Here, let's just go back.
Run Labs, never invested in Run Labs, never invested in MyAlgo, never invested in Algo Explorer. Personally, I didn't invest in Run Labs, in MyAlgo, and Algo Explorer. I have zero ownership in the company. Mm-hmm. My partner Arul also has zero ownership in the company. We love those guys because they took a bold step and started building very needed infrastructure in the ecosystem when nobody was doing it back in 2019 and 2020.
So, I mean, okay, so there we go. So that's the first part, right? And he makes it very clear that they have no interest in Rand Labs, all that stuff. And, I'm sure that they've made sure that that's technically true, right? But he's definitely, folks, trying to obfuscate his relationship with Pablo Yabo. And that's just, I don't know. I mean, why? Why is the question? Because here we go. And I do have to maybe push back a little bit on the Rand Labs affiliation, because according to, and correct me if this is wrong, but according to Open Corporates, in the end of 2019 and as of, I guess, February 2020, you're listed as a director of Rand Labs alongside Pablo Yabo.
Yeah, that's correct. And I am, if you go through the lawsuit, you're going to see my affidavits also.
Mm-hmm.
Pablo and Michelle are friends, and they initially worked with us in Algo Capital, and as a favor, because at that time they didn't have a third person to trust, mm-hmm. I was basically proposed to be one of the 3 directors that the Panama law requires to incorporate the company. I gave my name to that.
Just one. Okay. So, I mean, look, that's not the most unbelievable thing in the entire world. I mean, but we did just hear him talk about how they had no affiliation, no nothing. Ever since Pablo Yabo quit as CTO after that hack, there was no more. But, oh yeah, okay. And we can look at that real quick. Here is that Open Corporates. This is Rand Labs, Inc. The incorporation date of Rand Labs, Inc. is December 16th, 2019. And in fact, David Garcia is at the top here as director. And then there's other people. There's Michelle Dada, director and president. Pablo Yabo, director and secretary. And then this agent is always in all of their different things. And I don't know who Emma Lena Martinez is. Okay. But yes, on latest events from 12/16/2019 to February 11th, 2020, the addition of David Garcia, and that is at the point of incorporation. So, okay, yes, but oh yeah, I forgot, or yeah, that's a minor detail. I am listed as a director. Okay, so fine. So let's go back and watch the rest. And we're almost done. One more question. What is DGPY Group Corp? That was also incorporated, I think, in 2020, and it has you as the president, alongside DG Ventures and Pablo Yabo as a director, and has several other roles. What's the role?
Yeah, that's a corporation associated to my first fund. Mm-hmm. That is the one that invested $6.5 million in the Series A of.
So DGPY, which, real quick, was incorporated on October 5th, 2020. That doesn't make any sense, folks. That's not true. Let's go back to YouTube and finish it. We'll go back to this page in a second. So let's go back. So October 5th, it was, I think, 2020. DGPY was. Sorry. Okay. All right. So let's just real quick. We'll go here. So that $6.5 million that went to the initial funding of Algorand. In 2018, now this is from the lawsuit. In 2018, Algorand planned a venture capital investment round through which it sought to raise at least $6.5 million from outside investors by offering participation of 1.3% of Algorand's capital, which would be payable to investors in algos over a 5-year vesting period starting in 2019. Garcia led the investment round for Algorand and played the roles of the fund manager and fund administrator responsible for raising outside investments, verifying the distribution of the assets tied to the investment. Oh, shoot. Sorry. So here we are. In 2018, you heard me read it. In 2018, there was a raise of $6.5 million from outside investors. Garcia led the investment round for Algorand and played the roles of the fund manager and fund administrator responsible for raising outside investments, verifying the distribution of the assets tied to the investment, and administrating the capital distributions to the investors, whatever. Okay? And then CoinFabric alleges, and clearly David Garcia was pushing back in his explanation right there. As part of this, his ongoing collaboration with CoinFabric, Garcia arranged with Algorand to designate CoinFabric as Algorand's technology service provider responsible for building and maintaining the technical infrastructure through which the configuration and maintenance of nodes would run during the capital distribution period. Okay, that's called the Algorand engagement, which CoinFabric alleges they were highly involved in. And then you can go here, DGPY Group, incorporated at the end of 2020. That's a lot later than 2018, folks. So what, in fact, actually is DGPY Group is the real question. David Garcia is the director. David Garcia is the president. DG Ventures is the director. Now, maybe DG Ventures is what he was talking about, and that's what he might, whatever. He made an accidental mistake. I was very clear on what I was asking him. And then you have Pablo Yabo, director, Pablo Yabo, secretary, and then Pablo Yabo, I guess that's what, treasury? Tesorero? That must be treasury or something. So, folks, what is it? And why? Look, he starts off by saying, let's just go back. Well, I mean, it's just basic stuff here, dude. He starts off really working to be like, we have no affiliation with him since 2019 when other than the fact that we love that he is building tools for Algorand. But then it's like, okay, well, yes, okay, he left in 2019, but then, technically I was a director of Rand Labs, but I was just doing them a favor. Oh, and then later in 2020, we created something called DGPY Group, which is David Garcia, Pablo Yabo Group, obviously. And that's from the funding, the initial funding of Algorand, but we incorporated DGPY 2 years after Algorand did that funding round. It doesn't track. So why? Why? Why is it, maybe you're even asking, why do you care, right? Like, what's the big deal? Are you guys asking that? Yeah, I mean, that seems right. I mean, Hermes, DGPY, David Garcia plus Pablo Yabo. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, we just looked at it and it's like, I'll share it again. DGPY Group, October 5th, 2020, incorporation date. David Garcia is the president and the director. No Michel Dada, by the way. Pablo Yabo is the director, the secretary, the treasury, everything. So what was DGPY Group even used for? Is the real question that he did not answer. All right. And so I guess that brings us back to the point that I just made. I think there's two questions right now. Why is he trying to blur this relationship? And why the hell do I care? Right? I think that those are the two questions some of you have. Some of you might be like, Jesus, this is so weird. And some of you might be like, bro, we need money in this ecosystem. Why are you like going after this so much? Well, because I think there's something stinks. And I started this, so I better finish it, right? Something stinks here, folks. And it has something to do with that. And I don't know what it is, to be honest, but it's certainly something that he doesn't want us to really be thinking about, their relationship between the relationship between David Garcia and Pablo Yabo. All right. And look, we still don't know what is behind the MyAlgo hack. You know, if rumors are true, MyAlgo recently lost funding or got their funding drastically cut from the foundation. So there's that. So that could indicate that they weren't able to spend so much time on it, and blah, blah, blah. And then he also said how bullish he is on the 3 portfolio companies that got most greatly affected. And he mentioned how bullish he is on the treasury management tools, and we need to bail out these people, right? Because they'll leave otherwise. Well, guess what, folks? Prismatic was leaving anyways. They didn't even have a product. They didn't even build anything. I like those people personally, but if we're just being like honest, there was no product and they're out. They've said as much. I'm not even, whatever. The other project that got greatly affected was Waru or whatever, a helium-like thing that might have some success in, by the way, I think Borderless Capital are big investors in helium, but they may have some success in Latin America. But do we really think that they're long Algorand? I don't think so. And then there's Guard, which does have an existing community. And I'm sorry that I've kind of spoken harshly about Riley and her proposal for unilaterally just doing some sort of recovery fund without a vote, and before we even know what the cause was, not even who did it. We don't even know what the cause is, and the fact that we still don't know what the cause is makes it even more suspicious. Fine, but look, if we're just being, I like Riley. I like that. And I like everybody that I've met over there. This is nothing against anybody that at any of these places. I interviewed Weru. I've interviewed Riley. I've interviewed Michelle Dada. I've interviewed Natalie Salamink. I've interviewed Kyle Wang. I've interviewed all of these people, and I like all of them. This isn't personal at all. But if you're looking at Guard, look, they've totally underperformed, and they've got to be frustrated. They're frustrated. They had the idea, I'm sure they think, and I think it might actually be true, that they had the idea first, and they got kind of front run by AlgoFi and Folks Finance because they took some time building it. But do we really think that Riley and Guard are long on Algorand? I'm not sure. And that's just nothing personal. But I'm not, he says he's bullish on all 3 of those. Those are his portfolio companies. I happen to be very not bullish on all 3 of those. But that's just my personal opinion. You mix it with the fact that MyAlgo got their funding cut, apparently, supposedly. I'm not sure if that's true. And if it's not true, I'm sure somebody will correct me. That is not information from anybody at the foundation or MyAlgo, but it is a rumor. Something stinks here, folks. And I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what it is, but I sure the hell do not support rushing a giant recovery vote. And, David Garcia, to his credit, he said they would probably abstain from any vote. So that's good. So yesterday wasn't all bad. I'm not saying, and I'm not, look, guys, again, I don't know anything. Nobody's told me definitively anything. I just have this information that I'm finding on the internet, and it's all just sort of like, what? And the fact that he's trying to obfuscate, and that he's trying to do that word, his relationship with them just makes me wonder why. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, knows a little bit about a lot, though. Right. Is Algorand Foundation long on Algorand? I sure hope so. I sure hope so. Yeah, Average Zen says only 2 days left to vote, so not on this quarter as Bordeaux Capital wanted. Yeah, they could definitely, they could always add a vote at a different time. Are Algo Foundation still planning a recovery fund? I don't know. Were they ever planning a recovery fund, Patrick? Mr. Joker says Wayru wasn't set up for success. I saw the biz structure had potential, but I'll just keep the HNT hotspot I have instead. Yeah, I mean, when I looked into Wayru, I thought that what was most interesting about that was what they were doing in Latin America. I didn't think it was, I don't think it's really reasonable to think that it will have wider network effects. Aculard asks, why is Algorand Foundation moving funding from things like My Algo into things like bicycles? I don't know. I think the bicycles came first, let's be honest. And I think that was an ESG play. Make room for projects to get funding that the community actually believes in. Yeah, I mean, this is it. So look, you guys are funny, dude. All right. Hi, Patrick. I just saw, hey, Coop. Hey, hi, Patrick. Nice to see you, bud. Yeah. Well, Moriarty, let's see. The guy is a shark businessman. I have no qualms that the guy is shady and very much a politician. Show me someone who's made it that far that isn't. Yes. And if you have heard me on this show, I 100% agree with you. And I am not somebody that lives in this world that needs people to be, morally perfect. Pristine is a good word for that. That's not my thing, right? I don't care. Be who you are. And obviously, politicians are politicians and businessmen are businessmen. I get it. But at some point, there needs to be some level of calling it out so we know what it is, right? And if it's all good and it's just like capitalism, well, then I don't see really anything wrong. That's why we do need people out here that I'm apparently trying to step into that will kind of stand up to that power, because believe me, folks, nobody really wants me to do this. Who wants me to do this? Like he said yesterday, almost all the projects in Algorand have some connection to borderless capital. I mean, nobody wants me to do this, I think. Nobody, except for you guys. It seems like you guys want me to do this. It seems like the community wants me to do this. And maybe other people are enjoying this that aren't saying it to me. I have no idea. But all I'm trying to say is that something's weird. And there's a reason why he doesn't want us thinking, because there's a clear history here. It's not just what he said. It's clear. I mean, I don't need to show you again. He said that DGPY Group is from the funding of Algorand in 2018, but it was incorporated in 2020. Now, it seems like he did a politician move, and he just described DG Ventures instead. And I'm sure that's what he'll say. Algo Hicks Unite. Coop, please keep doing the show, man. I will, Dustin. This is Mr. Joker is like one of the is a good addition, man. I dig it, but I wish we didn't have to do this 100%, unless he's talking about Algo Hicks, because I like Algo Hicks. The truth hurts sometimes. Yeah, I don't want to do this, guys. I don't want to do this. I don't. I mean, guys, if you watched my show for 2 years, I don't want to do this. I want to talk about bronze medal parties and holes in boats. You know what I mean? Have some fun and party and go to and travel a little bit and get on some stages and talk to new people and be excited about Algorand. That's what I want. All right. But we're not there right now. Right now, we have this weird looming exploit, hack, whatever the heck it is. We don't know what it is. And then the entire macro environment and crypto in general is under this crazy, crazy attack. So let's just move on and let's talk about that. Okay. So, folks, obviously we had a very, very dynamic, okay. We had a very awful weekend, right? USDC depegged, it's found its peg again. Great. We had, they're winding down Silvergate, Silicon Valley, or whatever bank, Silicon Valley Bank shut down, and Circle had $3.3 billion of their reserves in SVB, which was by far the largest deposit at SVB, which makes sense because they're backing up a currency, but still it was like 3.3 billion. And then I think after that, it was just like 8 figures in the millions, maybe 50. I don't know. It might've been 9 figures. I don't know. I don't remember the look, but it was just, obviously it was just widely Circle, right? And then recently we had the New York regulators go into Signature Bank and shut them down. Now let's just look at what Barney Frank, who is the one of the molders of the big regulation bill that came after 2008, Dodd-Frank, he was on the board of Signature Bank, and this is what he said. Barney Frank, regulators shuttered Signature Bank to show crypto is toxic. Former rep Barney Frank, who is not a friend of cryptocurrency, believes regulators closed Signature Bank to show that crypto is toxic. Frank is the architect of the Dodd-Frank Act and a member of the Signature Bank board. Crypto panic generated that set of withdrawals. By Sunday, we had stabilized the situation, but I believe the regulators, especially the New York State regulators, who we all know will follow an agenda, wanted to send the message that crypto is toxic. And what's crazy is all of these banks with all of this crypto exposure, and crypto had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with SVB. Circle had nothing to do with it. They weren't the ones. You know what I mean? It was the fact that the Fed is raising interest rates at a crazy clip, and these banks were holding long-term bonds or treasuries or whatever at a very not market rate interest rate. So they couldn't, when they had a bank run that was led by SVB, led by people like Peter Thiel and whoever else that was causing alarm, they can't sell it. They can't sell these long-term low yield things because now you can get the same exact thing at a much higher interest rate. So there's no market for it unless there's a huge steep discount. So the United States had to dive in. Fine. Now, okay. So now there's Operation Choke Point. Have you guys heard of this? So this is Pirate Wires. I don't even know what this is. Oh, this is by Nick Carter. So this guy's good. He's a good Bitcoiner, but that's not what I wanted to show you first. Okay, so what is Operation Choke Point? Not 2.0, just 1.0. In 2018, the conservative Washington political news outlet The Hill published an op-ed by Frank Keaton, the former president of the American Bakers Association, entitled Operation Choke Point Reveals True Injustices of Obama's Justice Department. Operation Choke Point, Keaton said, was a relatively unknown program conducted by President Obama's Department of Justice. According to Keaton, it unjustly targeted small businesses without any consequences for those involved, with the program utilizing federal officials to pressure banks into closing the accounts of companies solely because of ideological differences. Operation Choke Point had more in common with a purge of ideological foes than a regulatory enforcement action. It targeted wide swaths of businesses with little regard for whether legal businesses were swept up and harmed. In fact, that seemed to be the goal. Keaton said the program operated unchecked for years, noting that officials at both the OCC and FDIC threatened banks with regulatory consequences if they did not comply with their demands. As a result, legitimate businesses such as gun and ammunition dealers and payday lenders, which are totally predatory, suddenly had their... So, I mean, look, I'm not saying what they were doing was completely without any merit, suddenly had their accounts terminated by banks with little explanation. The role of DOJ in aiding and abetting this program is especially troubling. During my tenure, it would have been unthinkable for us to develop a targeted campaign against lawful businesses simply because we objected to their existence. This certainly sounds a lot like what's happening to crypto right now. Keaton said its primary objective was to suffocate payday lenders and other high-risk businesses as implied by its name. As the former president of the American Bankers Association, I'm appalled at the brazen threats levied against banks during Operation Choke Point. Banks should answer to federal and state law, not to the whims of individual regulators with a vendetta against lawful businesses. In 2017, the Trump administration made headlines when it was said to have eliminated Operation Choke Point. However, according to Carter, since the Biden administration came into office, the news seems that traditional finance, top-tier banks, and institutions have been given top-down directions to re-implement Operation Choke Point, perhaps under a different name or guise. Okay, now we'll just read this. While neither the Fed, FDIC, OCC statement nor the NEC statement a few weeks later explicitly banned banks from servicing crypto clients, the writing is on the wall, and the investigations into Silvergate are a strong deterrent to any bank considering aligning itself with crypto. What is clear now is that issuing stablecoins or transacting on public blockchains where they could circulate freely like cash is highly discouraged or effectively prohibited. Now we'll just go to the source article here by Nick Carter on February 8th. And his assertion is the Biden administration is quietly trying to ban crypto. Okay, now this is a long article. I'm not going to sit here and read this entire article to you. You can go here. It's piratewires.com -- whatever, crypto choke point. But what began as a trickle is now a flood. The U.S. government is using the banking sector to organize a sophisticated, widespread crackdown against the crypto industry. And the administration's efforts are no secret. They're expressed plainly in memos, regulatory guidance, and blog posts. However, the breadth of this plan, spanning virtually every financial regulator, you guys are seeing all this crap, right? Yeah, okay. For crypto firms, obtaining access to the onshore banking system has always been a challenge. Even today, crypto startups struggle mightily. Okay, all right, bro. Okay, so here we go. Let's just read this. He gives a great timeline of events. I'll blaze through this, and then we'll move on to another point. On December 6th, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Kennedy, Marshall send a letter to crypto-friendly bank Silvergate, scolding them for providing services to FTX and Alameda Research and lambasting them for failing to report suspicious activities associated with those clients. Did she send a letter to Gary Gensler and everybody for meeting with FTX? On December 7th, Signature, among the most active banks serving crypto clients, announces its intent to have deposits ascribed to crypto clients. In other words, they'll give customers their money back, then shut down their accounts, drawing its crypto deposits down from $23 billion at peak to $10 billion, and to exit its stablecoin business. On January 3rd, the Fed, the FDIC, and the OCC released a joint statement on the risks to banks engaging with crypto, not explicitly banning banks' ability to hold crypto or deal with crypto clients, but strongly discouraged them from doing so on a safety and soundness basis. On January 9th, the Metropolitan Commercial Bank, one of the few banks that serve crypto clients, announces a total shutdown of its crypto asset-related vertical. On January 9th, Silvergate stock falls to a low of $11 on a bank run, insolvency fears having traded as high as $160 in 2022. On January 21st, Binance announces that due to policy at Signature Bank, they will only process user fiat transactions worth more than $100,000. On January 27th, the Federal Reserve denies crypto bank Custodia a 2-year application to become a member of the Federal Reserve System, citing safety and soundness risks. Now, if you guys don't know, Custodia was looking to be a fully backed bank with one-to-one reserves for deposits. This is a major. We'll look at it. We'll get to this too. What time is it? Oh, Jesus, 10 minutes. On January 27th, the Fed, Kansas City Fed branch denies Custodia's application for a master account, which would have given it the ability to use wholesale payment services and to hold reserves with the Fed directly. The Fed, 27th, issues a policy statement which discourages banks from holding crypto assets or issuing stable coins. On January 27th, the National Economic Council releases a policy statement not explicitly banning banks from serving crypto clients, but strongly discouraging banks from transacting with crypto assets. On the Department of Justice Fraud Unit announces an investigation into Silvergate over their dealings with FTX. On the 6th, Binance suspends USD transfers for retail clients. On the 7th, on February 7th, the January 27th Fed statement is entered into the Federal Register, turning the policy statement into a final rule with no congressional review or policy notice and comment period. As of February 8th, Protego and Paxos applications to follow Anchorage and obtain full approval to become okay. So in the end, we know what's happened since February 8th, and this was written on February 8th. So we know, right? Now, real quick, let me go here. And let's look at come on. Where is it? Did I spell it wrong or something? There it is. Oh, I did spell it wrong. Okay, we'll just share this. So I'm on Lynn Alden. She, the founder of Lynn Alden Investment Strategy, fundamental investing with a global macro overlay. Smart woman that talks about cryptocurrency. The execs at large money center banks this weekend. Yeah, we're all moving to JP Morgan, folks. Every regionally banked business and high net worth individual in the country is trying to open an account at JP Morgan this weekend. So she's really showing that this is destroying regional banks, and it's just going to consolidate to all the biggest banks that the too big to fail banks. But where's the tweet that I came here for? So this person, Custodia Bank, is really interesting. All they want to do is offer non-fractional banking to customers to give them the option of zero risk banking. Yet for some reason, the regulators refuse to allow this. Why? So this is the Custodia Bank. This is what I was looking for. Years ago, the narrow bank tried to do a business model of just taking deposits and holding 100% of them in reserves at the Fed. It would have basically be the safest possible bank if allowed to exist, but they have not been granted a Fed account. They even went to court over it. If one bank is too safe, it can suck deposits out of the whole system towards that bank. Most of the current two-tier banking system wouldn't make sense if that full reserve bank exists. So regulators ironically want banks to be safe, but for none to be too safe. Banks got a ton of new deposits in 2021 from the stimulus that went out, and they had to invest them somewhere. Mostly they went into assets with little, no credit risk, but that had duration risk. And then the Fed sucked liquidity out. We printed a lot of money, and this caused price inflation. So we started sucking it back out, but it mostly came out of small banks. Anyways, so there's something also fishy over here, guys. And then we have, let's get rid of that. And then we have, of course, I didn't need to do it this way, did I? I could have done that faster. That's okay. Binance, which this is also a big part of why the crypto markets are pumping. Binance will convert 1 billion worth of BUSD stablecoin to Bitcoin, Ether, BNB, and other tokens. Binance tapped into its industry recovery initiative funds to cover the move. Crypto exchange Binance said it will convert 1 billion worth of Binance BUSD to Bitcoin. This is a big middle finger to the SEC and the US government. Don't get this wrong. This quick 1 billion worth of BUSD, which is effectively being banned in the United States as we speak, is a chess move by somebody that should not be underestimated. Okay. CZ. That man shall not be underestimated. And this is like, okay, we know what you're about to do. So this shoe, this Binance shoe, potentially connected to Tether, that shoe is about to drop. And this, if you ever needed an indication that that shoe was about to drop, it's him being like, all right, I'm putting $1 billion into this. But not dollars, BUSD, that you're effectively about to ban and create problems for. The transaction from Binance's industry fund to BUSD took 5 seconds and cost merely $1.29. Isn't that fancy? And he announced it on Twitter before he did it. And who are the chumps with me that didn't immediately, because our USDC was down. When I saw that, I was like, he's going to put $1 billion. The market's about to pump. But unfortunately, my liquidity was at like 88 cents to the dollar. Oh, man. And then all of this with USDC, and then everybody having to move their USDC on to a centralized exchange to move it so they can start, getting info. I mean, look, I can go down a wormhole if you guys want me to on that. But I do also wonder, is the US government ahead of this a little bit? Did they anticipate this move? Because they also did, did I cue this up? Yeah. If you guys remember from March 8th, the US agency moves over 9,000 BTC to Coinbase. According to on-chain data, the US law enforcement agency moved 49,000 Bitcoin over 1 billion during the early hours of March 8th. On-chain data provider Glassnode reported that the US agency was moving around 40,000 BTC, adding that the transactions appeared to be internal transfers. However, it noted that the government agency sent nearly 10,000 BTC seized from Silk Road hacker to Coinbase. In 2022, the US government sought the forfeiture of 51,000 Bitcoin seized from that. All right. Before today's transactions, Glassnode said the US government's estimated Bitcoin holding was 144,500 BTC, making the country a crypto whale. Meanwhile, the majority of the U.S. acquisitions were done through seizures. In 2022, the U.S. Department of Justice seized $3.6 billion worth of Bitcoin connected to the 2016 Bitfinex hack. And before that, the government took 70,000 BTC from Ross Ulbricht, who should get out of prison, when it brought down the Silk Road. However, the country tends to auction off its seized crypto assets. As of February 2022, the government held 4.08 billion of Bitcoin. So all that BTC, I think it's, $200, $300 million worth, which is more now. Yeah, there we go. We already read it. Nearly 10,000 BTC at this point worth 219 million, now worth much more. I don't know if they were selling it, last week, or if they were holding it, or if they're even meaning to sell it. It went into a Coinbase cluster. So look, I don't know a lot about this. I don't know how large, holders like this move around their stuff, but it seems, according to Glassnode, this is a unusual movement to Coinbase on chain. So that could be in anticipation of Binance kind of going scorched earth and buying $1 billion worth of BUSD, which they believe is an illegal stablecoin to the US dollar. So I have a feeling that that shoe is very soon about to drop. All right. The algorithm. Okay, so now I'm going to go through these. I know we're at 7 o'clock. I'm going to go through these comments, and then it's going to be a party. Guys, I really want to move on from some of the drama. You know what I mean? Some of the diving. I do want this to be fun, but I do need to see it through. But you know, hopefully moving forward, this isn't going to have to be a centerpiece of my show, right? Because if it is, you know, I don't know how much longer, but I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. I promise. Uncle Sam says, I'm biased and bullish as fuck on DFly. I love DFly. That app is awesome. Holes in boats. Oh, so this is from a while ago. Eric says holes in boats. Mr. Joker want to talk about all those cool Algo Ranch parties. Yeah, dude. I was in Austin, and all of a sudden at the Algo Ranch party, which was a open bar, wonderful margaritas. DMC from Run DMC gave us our own little private concert. It wasn't that private, but it was super fun. That was a lot of fun. Mr. Joker, you missed out, buddy. Dubai was incredible. So look, I was in a Twitter space with some VeChain guys, and they kept on talking about how amazing their foundation was in this wonderful event that they threw at in Vegas in a UFC event, which, by the way, shows that VeChain Foundation knows what crypto bros like, right? And they were catering it to them. So for sure, that. But there's definitely a more feminine edge to the Algorand Foundation, but they can throw a good party too, is my point. All right. Governor's Hat says, we need to defer any compensation vote until after we have both a clearer picture on the hack and a clear, well thought out and red teamed proposal. I mean, yes, I'm happy to give my ideas on it. I actually do agree with something that David Garcia said. If these 2,000 regular holders just lose their money, they're not going to be inclined to stick around Algorand, especially through all this turmoil. I get it. But more than them just sticking around Algorand, you know, I don't want those people to lose money. So, and it's a small amount. So, you know, with the smaller holders, that's not going to add up to all that much, I bet. If we're talking, you know, holders of less than 100,000, 200,000 algo that got lost, those people can be made whole very easily, I think. We want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Who's going to do it? You? Sorry. That was a terrible Jack Nicholson. Love D-Fly. Yeah, time is tough. Let's just call David DeBrooks. That guy's leaning in. I encouraged it a little bit. But I encourage things like that. I'm the guy. If you guys want to know me a little more, when two people are fighting, we'll go, ooh. So know that about me. Hashing/big agree. We need to understand how this happened first. Yeah. D-Fly is king. +1 D-Fly. Mr. Joker likes it too. Few good men. We're all getting pegged. Yes, bro. That's true. That's funny. Combos are nice. That's true. He is bullying a 3-year-old. I'm not sure what that means. I'm Team Vestige and Para. LOL. Oh, man. We got a fight. We got a fight going on in the chat. D-Fly versus Vestige. Both fantastic. And Para, by the way. Look, I like Vestige. I like Para. I like D-Fly. Damn, Skippy, don't know what that is. I also thought it was interesting that there is action on Tiny Man, and I at least didn't know anything about it. Not sure if I'm too bubbled or if there's info out there I just didn't see. What you mean, Check? Yeah, Philippe is on, is on the same side as me. I like Vestige. I like DeFi. I like Para. Crypto is taking off in the only beginning, especially if Fed doesn't raise rates, in my opinion. If that happens, sure, but then inflation, right? We're in a bad situation. It's this. It feels good today because our bags are going up, and I feel good about that. But I am, and you also don't want to make the same mistake, though. I don't know how many of you out there made the mistake in 2020, and there was a pandemic, and everything was really scary and bad or whatever, right? Some of you, like me, may have seen your 6-year-old not be able to breathe. There was a moment where this was like, what the hell is happening? And I live in Los Angeles. I had the liquor store down the street get, all the walls broken in. There was fires I could see from my balcony, all of the stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it was a wild, wild time. And if you weren't paying close attention, you'd think, well, crap, this is going to be terrible. But then if you don't know things about markets and you don't know, well, if the Fed, drops interest rates to zero or whatever, and if, a Republican president, and you didn't anticipate it, is going to put a tremendous amount of stimulus into the country, and you're just kind of blown away by that, you may miss a massive, massive incline. So, of course, your ideas on how bad things are very, very frequently will not match up what the market does. So, you got it. This is all very complicated stuff on some level. It's not that complicated, but look, as interest rates go up, stocks go down, right? As interest rates go down, money becomes easier, stocks go up. Okay. That's very easy, very simple. And stimulus puts a lot of disposable income, things go up. Tightening pulls money out, things go down. We're going to go through. I will be so surprised. I saw Elizabeth Warren saying that Jerome Powell should recuse himself from looking at, I think it was Signature Bank or whatever it is that she doesn't want him looking at. I have a feeling, and I think Jerome Powell is probably looking at these bank failures as what they are, not necessarily a contagious type of thing. And it could be political, folks. It could be, look, we hate crypto and we need them to stop hiking rates so people don't lose their jobs. And it's complicated. Like, there's two sides to all this. Like I said earlier in the show, we're all focused on the market aspect of it. And there's a lot of other people that are just like, well, wait, why are we upset again that unemployment is at all-time lows? What is the problem? And, the Fed will make the point that inflation, yes, a couple million people need to lose their jobs and money needs to get tighter. But inflation is a negative for all working class people, not just the people that are going to lose their jobs, right? So there is two sides to every story. I'm not trying to say that there's just two sides to every story, but there is a long, long saying, don't fight the Fed. And that usually plays out. Alamex, I do a lot of my trades there too. Hashing Slash, it's good. It's a competitive rate. Whenever I kind of, I'll check. I'll do Alamex, I'll do Vestige, and I'll do DFly. It's all very competitive. They're all great. I've had different ones quote me the best price at different times. So you can always check all of those. Those are the three kind of aggregators: Alamex, DFly, and Vestige. And then also Pact has a smart router as well. I bet we get a 25 basis point raise. Yeah, I think that if this hadn't happened, we may have seen a 50, well, not after a flat inflation report. I think 25 basis points is what we're going to get. Coop, did you see Scaramucci's debate with that John guy from SEC? No, I'll watch it. A motivated small group can accomplish great things. The Fed wants to take all the crypto. Regulators view crypto as a big threat to big banks. I think that, people are underestimating how, all of the ideas that the crypto people come up with. And what are we protecting? We're protecting a banking industry that has been sort of on some level a scam since the beginning. They don't have the money to give back to you if everybody wants the money. USDC didn't fail even if they lost that $3.3 billion because they had a ton more. They're only going to fail because regulators make their lives absolutely, they can't do it anymore. But these full one-to-one reserves, what are they going to do? I don't know. Now, a lot of people will defend the banking industry and will say, well, a one-to-one bank that holds reserves one-to-one, how are they going to make money? They're going to have crazy fees. These fractionalized banks, there's a business model here. Okay, well, there's ways that I'm sure that they could make money. But I'm not pretending to be an expert in the banking industry. I'm just trying to kind of see what it is, navigate the noise, basically. Adam Bergman streamed it live on his channel. It may be there recorded. Cool. Adam Bergman is a very enthusiastic YouTuber as well. He talks about stocks. He talks about Algorand. He talks about HBAR and other things. Yeah, I heard Peter Thiel started the bank run. He seemed to have. Yeah, I think that BUSD is, Coinbase officially delisted BUSD right after CZ said that he was going to spend $1 billion worth of BUSD on crypto. So, and Coinbase had announced that they were going to delist BUSD soon, but right after CZ made that announcement, they officially pulled it off. So a phone call was made. Something's coming down the pipe there. Choke point 2. Yep. I think I have more typos than correctly typed words. That's okay, Shaq. You're a great member of this community. Chris, you made it right on time, buddy. 14 minutes before the end. Well, that's not true. It's 7:12. What did I miss? We just missed me talking about you, Chris. Crashing small business banking to push the monopoly. Isn't that fun? Isn't this fun, guys? Coop was critical on himself for not pushing back harder during yesterday's interview. That is true. Shit's sketchy as Chris. Talking about Operation Choke Point from 2018 till now. That's funny. Vince, isn't Operation Choke Point what killed David Carradine? Oh man, I had there was a girl in New York that subscribed to Operation Choke Point. So I don't trust projects who have thousands of USD and can't keep a phone with signal. Okay, I hate everyone in our federal government. I like Coop reading to me every morning, guys. You just grab a cup of coffee and Coop will read the news to you. What a great idea. To everyone that is just tuning in late and you missed it earlier, soon this will only be streaming on YouTube. So please make the migration for the rest of this week. Let's all consolidate on YouTube. Let's subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's like it. Let's do all the things. And then eventually, and I'm going to do some things that are going to help this show reach more people. For example, on the titles, I'm going to stop putting the ReCoop. You guys know it's the ReCoop. And I'm going to stop putting live. I'm going to put more compelling titles. I'm going to cut bits out and then we'll post those. The royal we will post those on Twitter. And that will be like it used to be. Solely a YouTube show and on Twitter. It's difficult. Elon Musk has made anything YouTube very difficult on Twitter before he's actually built anything that makes it reasonable for somebody like me to be solely on Twitter. Now, if that were a thing that I could do, I'd probably do it. If I could potentially ever make any money, I'm not going to make any money on YouTube anyway. I just need to choose one of them. I like that the YouTube chat that we got going on, and we just all got to be on YouTube. So that's not splitting all these views, and I'm just kind of like, meandering. There's a lot of things that I need to do to make this grow, and those are the first few things that I'm going to do. All right. Oh, yeah. And that's another point. Mel is saying if central banks issue CBDC directly, in my mind, small banks go out of business. Yes. And central banks this is the precursor to CBDCs. Like, let's not Let's not. You can't have a bank run when it's backed by the people that can print the money, right? So it's going to be a consortium of the biggest banks in the CBDC, and regional banks are going to go. And it's hopefully credit unions will exist, and there's a new order coming, and hopefully it's all right. What does this mean? Crypto for change 4 USD. Does that mean crypto for change tip me 4 USD? Pair character exaggerated stretching his arm forward to offer a cup of coffee. I don't know what that means, but it looks like he gave me $4. Thank you. Let's go. Crypto for change. Mel, could they survive by switching to boutique services such as specializing in real estate? Yeah, I think so, right? Got to go get more coffee. Money. Just don't tell the wife. I didn't ask her. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but crypto exchange Binance said it will convert. Well, yeah. Yep. Are we in a bull run yet? Nope. Maybe a consulting service. Okay. We're talking about banks and how they can exist after a, wow, it got over 26. Oh yeah. When I looked, it was over 26. Secret is safe. Us crypto dads got to stick together, and we got to invite more crypto moms over here, right? I've got a plan. And it involves me just continuing to do this. Algo's 22 cents. All eyes on BTC. USDC A 99.85. That's a hit that I am willing to take, but not at 20. I mean, not at Bitcoin over 26 though. Only parties that completely support crypto are libertarians in the Forward Party. Forward Party is mostly in Utah, I think. They're very pro Cardano integration into politics. I didn't know about the Forward Party and their passion for Cardano. That's cool. I'll look into that. But certainly the libertarians are the ones that began this whole thing. There's a lot of good points that the libertarians make. They're never able to actually make any real traction in our two-party system, but they offer up a lot of common sense, I think, in a lot of different ways. And it all has their problems. You guys know me, like left, right, middle, whatever. It's all ambiguous. So expect it to come back and maybe test 25 as support now. That would be nice. That would be nice. Yeah, Gemini put out a statement. I saw that as well. And most of their funds are in large banks that don't look like Signature or Silvergate or whatever. But there was a rumor last week that JP Morgan was cutting ties with Gemini. But they're still saying that they're with them. American banks are consolidating and will be owned by the government, CBDC. Yep. Government has some FedNow system. Dems are the bank's party reps represent the corporations. 10 o'clock meeting canceled. You can go for another hour if you want, Coop. Thank you, Shek. He's been a supporter of the show for a long time. I really appreciate you. Yep, Coinbase, no more BUSD. Green middle finger. I like it. My swing trade would have made me over 3,000. I'm really pissed that I didn't completely jump out. I was going to jump out of USDC into USDT when there was a very slight thing. And then I probably would have jumped back out of USDT, back into USDC, and made a wonderful, wonderful arbitrage thing. But I didn't. There was so much uncertainty, and I kind of checked myself. I was like, "Oh, so you're gonna jump out of the risky USDC and into the safe haven of USDT." It seemed like a stretch in logic, but in the end, there's different people controlling USDT than there are USDC. But I think we're seeing. Sorry that I'm kind of stumbling around here, but I think we're seeing that USDC is a little more ingrained in the game than we need to. So we might not have to worry about it if, on that level of it being secure. USDC and DAI were both depegged. Yep. Tired of the ESG plays. Yep. Even though I'm a big supporter of renewable energy, I think it is a national security issue, and I believe that we should be fighting less wars over oil or having less conflict over oil. It'd be wonderful if we could become more independent and use our reserves, but also create an infrastructure that's sustainable and be a leader in that. I don't understand why we don't do that. But there's just, ESG is just a corrupt game, and that's the problem. Wouldn't that be nice? Mr. Joker says the Fed should just add to their BTC holdings. Yeah. Scotty rolls. I love when people laugh at undesirable circumstances. It's a beautiful thing. Well, it's my thing, man. So I appreciate you. Maybe Fed and Coinbase cut a backdoor deal. Well, yeah, I mean, Coinbase is in with them for sure on some level. They push back though, Yeah, there you go. Patrick, what do you think about Algorand one-click node staking? I love it. And I believe, if I remember correctly, that John Woods and Jessica, the new CMO, are going to be on the next block tomorrow. Am I correct about that, Crypto for Change? And then I have John Woods, I believe, coming on next week. So I'll be talking to him about one-click nodes, but I will definitely be participating. If I can use my 8 gig Raspberry Pi for a one-click node, I'll be running a one-click node. Mr. Joker says Coinbase gives CZ the finger. Fed holds some confiscated BTC on their platform, so Coinbase doesn't take a huge hit. No sells. Yeah, okay. The song that owns itself. There you go. That was at the Run DMC. It was a good night. CJ. One-click nodes. I think I got sick from the food, though. Did you? I don't remember. For a couple of reasons. And Algorand YouTube, besides Coop, we just have that Bergman guy who is high energy. Nah, we got Crypto for Change. We got JT Invest in You, C-Will. There's some other guys, Crypto Nerd. There's other guys. So we need Coop, though. We definitely need Coop. Dude, that Austin Algorand party looked so dope. Perfect hype video. It was. Bar next door kept trying to play their music loud during the speakers. That's true. They seemed like they were having fun next door, too. Oh, yeah. Uncle Sam came through with the breakdown of the YouTubers. Fan of Humble, that thought us upgradable and non-upgradable contracts. I'm a fan of Humble as well. All right, Scotty, I hope you have a good day at work. Ted Lasso, season 3 starts tomorrow. I need to get Apple, I resisted. I did like Ted Lasso, though. And, I did my free trials that you get every time you get a thing. I just, another streaming. But there has been a few different things that I have wanted to watch on that. I'm really, you guys are optimism is cheap as fuck. Does Aave support that? Yeah, well, Optimism is, obviously teaming up, or Coinbase is teaming up with Optimism to create Base. And so there's going to be a lot of synergy between Coinbase and Optimism. John Mazzoni, once banks start blowing up, that's a definite sign their tightening has worked. It's true, because it is the tightening, and that's what they want. Some of this is good. This actually does a lot of the job for them, because if banks are blowing up, they're going to stop lending as much. And if they stop lending as much, there's less money out there. And if there's less money out there, then inflation cools down. There we go, guys. I know a little about a lot. I know that. All right. Ugh. Inflation isn't caused by low unemployment. Well, of course not. Of course, inflation is not caused by low unemployment. We've had wonderful times of low unemployment. We've had low employment before. Inflation is caused by a lot of other things. The unfortunate thing is that unemployment helps not put that money into the people don't have money. They have to tighten up, and it tightens. And then prices go down because people can't buy. So it's just one of the aspects of an unfortunate kind of reality, that when you are looking at inflation, you have to pay attention to the jobs numbers, because we want to see, if you're worried just about inflation as a banker, man, you want to see unemployment actually go up a little bit, so people are strapped. So there's a tightening that happens. It just sucks that usually is affecting the the middle class. But Eric thinks Powell is clueless, and I think that there's a lot of reasons he is. I'm certainly clueless. I'm more clueless than Jerome Powell when it comes to how to handle inflation, though. I'm pretty sure. It don't fight the Fed, but they're conducting Operation Choke Point. Sounds like a fight to me. Well, in the end, the central bank is supposed to be independent. It's hard to say that. BitBoy is bankless after signature went belly up. Oh, he's in trouble, huh? Oh, bankless. He's just bankless. So because signature, you're able to get your money out. All right. I gotta speed ahead here. Sorry, guys. Coop, can you somehow have your donation wallet posted maybe in the corner of your live video? Absolutely. Thank you, Dustin. And maybe I should put that in here. And obviously donations are appreciated. They're not required. But if you guys want, you can send, if you want to send USDC or Algo or GoBTC or any kind of most Algorand ASAs, you can send that to coindrive.recoup.algo, or frankly, you can send it to recoup.algo too if you want. All right. 15 to 16 cents, I'm loading up. And that's the truth, my friends. Obey the Rebel is waking and baking, man. Where's the bong at? It's not here. I don't, when I do smoke, I very rarely, I've had some bad experiences with like gravity bongs and panic attacks. It's bongs, that amount coming into my body at the same time. I have a bad track record with that. I'd love to tip you some Taco Coin or Algo during the show. Thank you, Dustin. Taco Coin, I'm not sure would be added on the wallets that I said, but I do have that in one wallet that used to be in recoup.algo, but that was a MyAlgo account at that point. But I appreciate you, man. Taco Coin meeting with CEO Stacy with Friday. Well, there you go, man. I got to get to Iowa and get taco. That'll be a lot of fun. If you live anywhere near Iowa, apparently there's a taco truck, Taco Coin, that will accept Taco Coin and Algo for tacos. Be hilarious. We got next Decipher should be I live in Los Angeles, so I know a lot about a taco truck. It should be at the Taco Coin taco truck, and we should just all be hanging out on like the sidewalk of some busy street in foldable chairs. Might have to with all the tightening happening. There you go. Tomorrow on the next block at 2 p.m. Eastern. Yep. Should be 1 p.m. Eastern. Gotcha. So 1 p.m. Eastern, John Woods and the new CMO of Algorand Foundation live on the next block with your friends, JT Invest in You, C Will, and Crypto for Change. I'll be getting John Woods next week. Thanks, John. Hey, John, if you're watching, thanks for doing the next block before doing my show. I appreciate it. John was trying to move it, but I think we're going back to 1 p.m. Now, if you Crypto for Change, if John tries to move it until after the 20th, you'll know why. Just kidding. It wouldn't be because of me. Awesome. I'm looking forward to NFT NYC. I might be there. We'll see. Barry's the best. Django likes Barry. I watched Barry. I haven't watched the last season, but I did enjoy the first couple of seasons. South Park. Love South Park. Apple has two good shows, Foundation and Severance. I've seen neither of those. I still need to finish Succession. I avoided watching Succession for a while, and then I started it on the trip to Dubai, and I got into it. It's really good. And I also know some of those people from New York that are in it. I'm still that 8-year-old little fucker, I swear. You know what, Uncle Sam, man? That occurs to me on occasion too. Renewable energy clip. my renewable energy take often goes really well in the crypto ecosystem. Tonight, the Cooper Troopers lights are going to find me. ABBA somewhere in 2023. Grab it. Can't do it again. Fuck me up one night. Gravity bong. Yeah, dude. Oh my God. I was like 19 years old, and there was like these guys in like a different town, and they were rappers. It was called Bucket Bong Records, right? And I'm hanging out with these guys. We're drinking 40s and stuff like that, just ridiculous stuff. And I have to go take this rip out of a gravity bong called the Bucket Bong, right? And I hit it, and I push down or I pull up too hard, or I push down too hard. I don't remember what it was, but I get the water in my mouth, and I accidentally swallow it. And he hadn't changed the water in like a year. It was toxic. And I went into the backyard, all these tough dudes, and I'm just vomiting for like the next hour and a half next to that man's pool, or that young man's pool. It's a long time ago, folks. It's a long time ago. All right, guys. John Woods. Buddy, Dustin, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. All right. Yum. Average says. All right, guys. Look, you guys are the best. And we went extra long today. It's an hour and 30 minutes. I've got some stuff to do. I'm running late, folks. All right, everybody. Hey, thank you for watching. Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday, just in case you were wondering. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm on the fence on whether I'm going to put this on Twitter tomorrow, too, to give some time. Maybe I'll just make the announcement and just cut it dry. And tomorrow is only on YouTube. So make sure if you're enjoying this content, you head over to YouTube. It should be the featured video. And I'm going to try to do as much as I can to make this kind of take off and, or, get bigger. And you guys are helping me, man. This chat is where it's at. The Cooper Troopers, the troop, the band of misfits, whatever we are. I got some plans for Cooper Troopers, and let's have some fun with it, right? Let's do it. All right, guys. Thank you. See you later. Peace is what